Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be comparing Atlas, Surfshark, and NordVPN in a direct head-to-head comparison, checking out which VPN is the right one for you. Now guys, this video is unsponsored, which means that none of the VPNs are paying me to make this video. However, if you do decide on one of these VPNs and you click on my link, it will give the channel a small cutback and help me continue to make videos just like these ones. Additionally, the links in the description and pinned comment should give you the best current deal going on with these VPN providers. So guys, thanks for your support ahead of time, and let's check out which VPN is the right one for you. Now keep in mind, every VPN is ranked directly on the VPN tier list as well, so check that out too. So guys, here we have the website for both Surfshark, Nord, and Atlas. Now I've reviewed each one of these VPNs here on the channel, and they do have their own specific ratings and reviews, so you could check those out on the channel if you want a more in-depth kind of look at each VPN. So the thing about Surfshark, Nord, and Atlas that you have to keep in mind is that each one of these VPNs is owned by this same company. Now NordVPN and Surfshark recently, around a year ago I believe, had some kind of merger deal where they kind of combined forces. However, that said, the parent company behind NordVPN, Testnet, did help incubate and start Surfshark, so at least it seems like there are always kind of similar backgrounds to these VPNs or similar people working on them, at least not so much in the public light, but behind the scenes in terms of development, how they operate and stuff like that. So guys, which one of these VPNs should you choose? Well, each one kind of has their own advantage and disadvantage over the other one, and each one kind of has their own product specification kind of that these companies are trying to get you to buy them. Each one has their own kind of niche use case the company thinks that you would like. So right away we can kind of take a look at, I've done tons of comparisons with VPNs, but I've made a specific chart here that will highlight the differences specifically between these three VPNs. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here for us to look at. So if we take a look at Nord, Atlas, and Surfshark, which one is the better priced VPN? Well, if we look at it in terms of the cheapest one, it's probably going to be AtlasVPN. AtlasVPN is a little bit cheaper than the other options. It also has a little bit more generous free plans. So if you're looking for the cheapest one, AtlasVPN is probably it. Surfshark's also not a bad deal, and NordVPN is definitely going to be a little bit more expensive than the other options. Additionally, Surfshark and Atlas promise unlimited simultaneous connections, so they have that going for them. So that's kind of it for the pricing section. Atlas is probably the cheapest, followed by Surfshark and then Nord. However, if we go into the application section, which one does have the better application? And we take a look at a lot of the different things people are going to be looking for in terms of stuff that you want from a VPN. Now keep in mind, this column is going to be Nord. Let's go ahead and make that a bright blue color. We're going to make it that color. Atlas is going to be, let's make it a kind of a teal color. Let's make Atlas more of that blue color there, and we're going to make Surfshark more of a teal color just to make sure you guys can tell which one we're looking at. So NordVPN here I think is going to win in the application department. It has probably the strongest application if you look at each feature set. Take for example AtlasVPN in the middle. It doesn't have split tunneling or browser extensions. It's also missing out on a lot of things like Linux UI, or it's missing out on some things that Nord does have. For example, we're going to be looking at DNS controls. AtlasVPN doesn't have that. It doesn't have socket-side proxy support or dedicated IPs, whereas Nord does. Additionally, if we take a look at Surfshark compared to Nord, Nord has DNS controls, socket-side proxy, and dedicated IPs, which Surfshark does not. That said, out of both Surfshark and Nord, they're pretty similar in some of the things. The cool thing about Surfshark, it does have a Linux GUI, so if you want to use Linux with a VPN, Surfshark's going to have a GUI on Linux, whereas Nord does not. That's really the only advantage Surfshark has over NordVPN in my opinion in terms of application. But overall, I would say between Surfshark, Nord, and Atlas, Nord has the most fully developed kind of PC application suite. That said, one thing I do like about Surfshark, it does have dark mode and NordVPN still does not, although it's supposedly in the works for some time. AtlasVPN, while the cheapest, does probably have the weakest application still. It's just incredibly basic, but it does get the job done if you don't want to worry about any of these advanced kind of settings that you might need to take advantage of depending on your use case. So overall, Nord has the strongest application, Surfshark the second strongest, and Atlas probably the weakest and simplest application. Now, if we look at the speed section, I would say that they're all probably using similar infrastructure and server setups and stuff like that. But for some reason, I get a little bit better speeds with AtlasVPN and NordVPN over Surfshark. I'm not sure why. Surfshark says it has a Nexus feature or some kind of enhanced speeds, but I just get a little bit better speed tests with Nord and AtlasVPN than I do with Surfshark. Not that much better, just a little bit of an improvement, so keep that in mind. If we look at the privacy audit section, now these VPNs aren't going to do too well. It's not that they can't protect your privacy or anything like that. It's just that the VPNs aren't using the best practices when it comes to, how it looks in terms of, the privacy back end of stuff. If you're going to be using a privacy company, you want it to have good principles behind the scene, and some of these VPNs here don't have the best principles in my opinion. Take example for AtlasVPN. It doesn't have two-factor authentication on its website, which is a bummer, and it kind of forces you to log in through your email each time, which doesn't seem the best security method to me. I would prefer two-factor authentication with app-based authentication, as well as more passwords than always having to go to your email. Additionally, NordVPN does require you to log in through browser 2, which isn't my favorite method, where Surfshark doesn't do that necessarily. So Surfshark probably has a more secure login, in my opinion, than NordVPN, constantly forcing you to go to their website. And the website does track you pretty good. It has trackers on the website. Each one of these applications has trackers, which means kind of tracking you around the website, monitoring you how you use the website. According to them, it's not like nefarious, it's just to track its user base and probably to market between the different products, but still a lot of VPNs out there don't have this kind of stuff that these companies do. In fact, most of the big VPNs do, while some of the smaller VPNs don't. So that is an advantage sometimes to some of the VPNs that are smaller and not as focused so much on business. Some of these VPNs that are so big, maybe this is the reason they get so big, is because they have more marketing and analytics to take advantage of. That's one theory. In terms of the privacy, which one would do the best? Well, AtlasVPN has probably the cleanest reputation, probably just because it's newer and not as used as much. But Surfshark has had some security things investigated by critics, and NordVPN has also had some instances in the past. That said, NordVPN is kind of like the VPN that was the original offering from TeslaNet, so it has had less change of hands. AtlasVPN was either acquired later on or developed by, I'm not sure, by TeslaNet. It was later kind of merged or bought with the company, and Surfshark was merged as well, whereas NordVPN was kind of like the OG VPN that these guys made. So take that as you will. In terms of customer support, I did have the best experiences with Surfshark and Nord, whereas Atlas didn't get back to me as speedily, although the customer ticket response time wasn't bad, around 2 to 3 hours I do believe, but Surfshark and Nord seem to have a little bit faster customer support. In terms of streaming, all these VPNs do pretty well. They probably use similar infrastructure to unblock streaming services, and none of them had really any problems with any of the streaming services out there, so overall pretty good. Now we could come to the final reviews of each one of these products. Obviously, NordVPN is rated the highest, AtlasVPN is rated least high, and Surfshark is in the middle of these two VPNs, a little bit lower rated than NordVPN. But finally, in conclusion, which VPN should you choose and why? Well, if you're looking for the cheapest VPN that gets the job done and is extremely simple, AtlasVPN isn't a bad choice. However, I do think that NordVPN offers probably the best product in terms of its pure score. Its application is a little bit more polished, customer support is a little faster, and it's a little bit faster as a VPN than Surfshark. Surfshark does have some interesting things like a Linux GUI and dark mode. However, it is missing some of the things in the application department, and speeds aren't quite as good as NordVPN, while streaming is good with all of these. If it were up to me, I'd probably go with NordVPN, just because it represents the most polished product out of all these options, and it's the VPN that they've clearly kind of put the most work into, although Surfshark kind of has its own kind of attractiveness too. So if you want the cheapest one, maybe go with Atlas, but I do think just paying a little bit more with Surfshark or Nord is going to get you a better product than AtlasVPN, since AtlasVPN is kind of like the budget offering for people who really can't afford some of these other ones. Anyways, guys, check out either one of these three options in the description / comment. Once again, I would say that you might want to go with the highest rating one if you can't afford it. If you can't afford Nord, maybe go with Surfshark. And if you really can't afford either Nord or Surfshark, perhaps go with Atlas. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this comparison, and I'll see you again very soon.